People are coming in. People are drifting in. Good morning, everybody. As people are drifting in, I have a couple of announcements before our service begins. Happy Easter, everybody. Welcome to the Unitarian Church. I'm Judy Hart, the president of your Board of Trustees. I want to offer a special welcome to those of you who are visiting for the first time. I hope that you'll join us for coffee and conversation in the gallery following the service. These are a couple of announcements. Today after service, join us to urge our members of Congress to support a climate-smart and equitable farm bill. We'll be writing letters in the gallery after the service. Also after the service today in the library is the final 8th Principle Learning Circle conversation. It's going to be following the service, and we do have cookies, so that's a draw. So we'll explore the word urban using an anti-racist lens. Christine Davis will be hosting that conversation. And finally, who can forget the annual egg hunt? Nobody. Except there's my pen pal, and I had a gift for her, and I didn't bring it today. I'm so sorry. We'll get it the next time. After the service, children can hunt for change-filled eggs to benefit a local organization. Then they may choose a prize from our treat table as a thank you for their participation. That's pretty innovative, isn't it? That's pretty awesome. How many of you brought change for the eggs? Look at that. Yeah, all right. That's it for the announcements. And I think we have 1 or 2 minutes of contemplation before the service begins. Talk among yourselves, please.
I'm grateful for the sun that shines. I'm grateful for the rain. And when life's bumps and life's bruises come, I'm grateful all the same. So just knowing I am a lonely soul, hand in hand with a world full of lonely souls, brings peace and love to my beating heart, and faith blooms in me again. I'm grateful for music that I may hear. I'm grateful for a tune, the songs that seem to flow through my mind like a river chasing the moon. So just knowing I am a lonely soul, hand in hand with a world full of lonely souls, brings peace and love to my beating heart, and faith blooms in me again. I'm grateful for a smiling face. I'm grateful to see you today. I'm grateful for nature around us all, and for feeling each joy and each pain. Somehow knowing we are all lonely souls, hand in hand with every lonely soul, brings peace and love to each beating heart, and faith blooms in us again. And what is this faith that I'm speaking of? It isn't in some old bearded man up above. It's music and poetry, beauty and love in all of us everywhere. It's music and poetry, beauty and love in all of us everywhere.
Good morning. Our chalice lighting words today are by Jennifer McLaughlin. As the first hint of spring of green begins to peek through the barren ground, as that little sprig grows into a healthy stem, as that stem grows into a stalk and forms a bud, as that bud slowly opens with each new day to form a yellow daffodil, let us be like that first hint of green, renewed by the warmth of the sun's rays, and ready to emerge with a new energy, ready to face the day. We light this chalice to bring a glimmer of that warmth into our space. Welcome to the Unitarian Church of Lincoln. My name is Kathy Disney, and I'm a worship associate of this church. Our settled minister, Reverend Oscar Sinclair, is on sabbatical and away from the pulpit until mid-June. I am joined on the chancel virtually this morning by Kiana Dene Perkins. Kiana Dene is a student at Star King School for the Ministry. She is currently an intern for the Southern Oregon Partnership. She aspires to center the tenets of the Unitarian Universalist faith in the fight for collective liberation. She lives in Ann Arbor, Michigan with her 2 teenagers and loves to be outside in nature. Over the past few years, the way that we have met has often changed. But whether in person, on Zoom, or on a YouTube live stream, or some way of being that we cannot yet imagine. Worshiping together is a chance to deepen our connection with the sources of meaning in our lives and to proclaim who we are and what we are about, throwing open the doors of our congregation and proclaiming the radical love and welcome that is at the heart of our faith. The Unitarian Church of Lincoln aspires to be a loving community, uniting reason with spiritual exploration to transform ourselves and our world. We have a big vision here, and we know that creating a loving community begins with welcome. So whether this is your first time here or your 500th, if you come here hopeful or heartbroken, whatever your age, gender, skin color, whomever you love, you are welcome here. As we enter into worship, take a moment to center yourself in this space. Find a comfortable place with your body. Take a few deep breaths. And let us continue with singing together our first hymn, number 61 in the gray hymnal, Lo, the Earth Awakes Again. Please rise in body or spirit. I would invite any children who wanted to come forward for a little better look to come forward, but we're going to have a very cool video, so I think you can probably see it from anywhere.
Earth Dance by Joanne Ryder. Imagine you are standing tall in an empty space. Stretch your arms out wide and slowly spin around. Imagine you are growing taller than the trees, taller than the hills, head high in the sky. You are growing so large, so tall, no one can see all of you now. Imagine you are dancing in space, even larger than the moon. Spinning around, you are round, wrapped in a quilt of bright colors. Blue flowing seas, dark green woods, and deserts of golden sand. You're twirling so gracefully, carefully. Not even the sand moves as you spin. You are large and grand, and your voice is the proud roar of icebergs cracking, waterfalls tumbling. Your whisper is a breeze murmuring through the weeds, a tiny wave lapping land. Wiggle your shoulders, and mountains tremble and quake. Shake your hair and feel windswept grasses tickle your face. You are streaked with roads and bridges, spotted with farms and factories. Up your hills and down your rivers, cars and ships carry people from one place to another, all places on you. You are where crickets leap, rabbits hop, and children run and run. Imagine them leaping and dancing with you as you spin. You are where people meet, talking and singing and laughing aloud. You are hearing them all, their voices humming as you twirl. Turn your face to the bright sun, and cities wake up, yawning to the morning. Behind you, cities in darkness turn on their lights. Go to sleep and dream. As you spin, you bring day, then night to everyone who calls you home. You spin around and also dance around the sun, bringing summer, bringing winter when snowflakes touch and cover you, and people leave soft footprints on your snowy fields. You are every place people rest, and the place everyone knows best. You are older than anyone, yet each day you are where new life grows, flowers bud, and babies are born. You are home to ants and lizards, fish and dragonflies, roses and redwoods. You are shelter for people who may never meet, but share one thing. You are their home. Dance slowly, spin gently, and carry them through space. May they hear your whispers, feel your strength under their feet, and treasure you. For you are home. You are precious earth.
As the children head off to their ingathering and Easter egg hunt, after the service, I would invite everyone to stand as you are able and sing our next hymn, number 175, We Celebrate the Web of Life. I always love it when you do that key change. Just do. A central part of our service is the time we join together as a community to mark the moments of our lives. We share with one another our joys, our sorrows, the events that mark the steps on our journey. The threads of sorrow and those of joy are intertwined in the fabric of our lives, present for all, remembered by all. We share those threads, and then they are woven together with those of others in our community. Our joys are shared and magnified. We are comforted in our sorrows. I invite you to type into the chat or to share in this shared space your name or the name of another you wish to be remembered in sorrow. There is something of a lag between the online and the live presence, so I may round back to things as I need to. So please share your name or the names of any you wish to have remembered in sorrow. Judy Kelly has COVID. Kara. Rob. Kim. Jason and his family. From the chat, we have so far Donna. And as I said, I'll come back as I need to. We too know that joy is a part of our community. So I invite you to type into the chat or speak into this shared space your name or the name of another you wish to be remembered in joy. All those who gathered at Second Unitarian in Omaha for a beloved community, for the thing that they had in Omaha. That was beloved community. And I'm sure it was wonderful. Priscilla says, joy for visiting the Unitarian Church in Urbana, Illinois. Granddaughter Hannah celebrated her 17th birthday yesterday. I would add my mother's 85th birthday today. In the chat, we have a joy from Duncan Case. It says Devin Case Rushala has become Dr. Devin this week. And rounding back to sorrows that were too late to be mentioned earlier, Wendy and Lynn says, sorrow, my Aunt Karen, who had a stroke yesterday. We know, too, that there are some joys, some sorrows that are yet unspoken but still deeply felt. Let us hold a moment of silence for everything that is unspoken. Thank you for your presence. Please remain seated as we sing hymn number 352, Find a Stillness. Each week, we take up a collection to support the work of this church and our partners in the community. We do this because just as we grow from our participation in this community, we all give back through our time, our talent, and our treasure. As the next piece of music is played, will the ushers please come forward? You may also text your offering to UC Lincoln and the amount to 73256. That's UC Lincoln and the amount to 73256. The offering will now be gratefully received.
Tried to fit, we tried to bend, fix all our broken places, wishing we could mend. So we stand here with these scars, naked, and we trace our fingers lightly over yours. Where are our better angels, beautiful and wise? We pledge our first allegiance to the love that's in our eyes, in our eyes. After midnight, rage and fires light. Some are shaking with despair, so many dead and silent. Are we brave enough? Are we strong enough to listen and to care? Where are our better angels, beautiful and wise? We pledge our first allegiance to the love that's in our eyes, in our eyes. So much history, can we change it? For we know that time is running like a river through our hands. Tell the stories that must be told, make us whole, so we will rise, drink and breathe.
Our reading this morning is Remember by Joy, not Joe, as I incorrectly put up there, Joy Harjo. Remember the sky that you were born under. Know each of the stars' stories. Remember the moon. Know who she is. Remember the sun's birth at dawn. That is the strongest point in time. Remember sundown and the giving away tonight. Remember your birth, how your mother struggled to give you form and breath. You are evidence of her life and her mother's and hers. Remember your father. He is your life also. Remember the earth, whose skin you are, red earth, black earth, yellow earth, white earth, brown earth. We are earth. Remember the plants, trees, animal life, who all have their tribes, their families, their histories too. Talk to them. Listen to them. They are alive poems. Remember the wind. Remember her voice. She knows the origin of this universe. Remember you are all people, and all people are you. Remember you are this universe, and this universe is you. Remember all is in motion, is growing, is you. Remember language comes from this. Remember the dance language is, that life is. Remember.
Good morning. My name is Kiana Danae Perkins, and I'm excited to be spending this time with you today. First, before I begin, I need to call my comrades, elders, and ancestors into this space, making it holy and making it a temporary home. Manifesting liberation. Before we deep dive, I want to name that we have found ourselves in a unique spiritual intersection. And this month, we have the Christian celebration of Easter. He has risen, or he has hopped. We have the Jewish observation of Passover. The harm has passed. We have the holy Islamic observation of Ramadan. He has received his first revelation. And we have the worldwide celebration of Earth Day, and for many people, it is also the spring equinox. She has bloomed. Today, we will focus on Easter and hold the other holy days of this month in our hearts. Let us begin. I was not raised in a religious home. However, when I was younger, we did attend church on Easter Sunday. There was a heightened adult energy about the day. We had special hair, outfits that included frilly dresses, lacy socks, purses, and bonnets. I could tell there was magic swirling in the air, but it was magic I didn't understand, and no adult took the time to explain. And attending church only added to the confusion. Once there, I was expected to sit still, pay attention, sing, stand, repeat, repent for my sins. None of this made sense to me. I had no context of faith, Christian or otherwise, outside of those special Sundays. Over time, we stopped attending church on Easter Sunday and just gathered as a large family for a big Sunday meal. This was just one of the fragments of faith practices I experienced. Celebrations of Easter and Christmas, attending Christian funerals, knowing the Bible and the Quran, and something called Jewish, but there was no explanations. I spent a lot of time wandering. As I got older, I found safe people and places to ask my spiritual questions, all of which led to me finding Unitarian Universalism, led to me hearing my call to ministry. Being in seminary has been a gift. I have had time to slow down, embrace, and nurture all of my spiritual wanderings. I have been able to apply both academic rigor and spiritual curiosity to exploring other faiths, their holy days, practices, and rituals. I find myself a UU on Easter. In fact, I am a UU minister in training, delivering the Sunday sermon in a unique intersection of spiritual density. Easter, Passover, Ramadan, Earth Day, spring solstice. I can feel my own heightened ministerial energy take hold. Here, I want to share some of the threads I needed to unravel and weave back together as I seek to understand what it means to be a UU and a UU minister on this special day. Thread. In the name of spiritual healing, I needed to create some context for my personal experiences. As an adult, I can see where my family went from celebrating the resurrection of Jesus to celebrating the coming of spring. I can see where we shifted from engaging in the Christian practices of Easter into only practicing the secular Easter elements. I want to be clear, I am creating this term, secular Easter practices. I needed to add this term to my language to speak to two overlapping experiences which left me confused for years. Christian Easter is marked with holy commemorations like the 40-day Lent observations, youth theater presentations of Stations of the Cross, Good Friday events, and Easter pageants at Sunday service. While, with the same respect and energy, secular Easter practices highlight Easter baskets, chocolate bunnies, Easter egg hunts, and family gatherings. I want to be clear that there is no hierarchy between Christian Easter and secular Easter practices because both are real and valid. I unravel them because it's the context I needed as a child. And now, as a minister in training, it's the framing I can offer other people seeking to understand all of the layers of Easter magic. Thread. In the name of ministerial formation, I had to affirm what I know of our UU history. We know that what we now call Unitarian or Universalist faith came to America in the 1600s. What made the Unitarian beliefs differ from that of Christians remains their belief in one God as opposed to a Trinitarian God or the Trinity of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. The Universalists took another path of departure. Their theology, then and now, upholds that salvation, the possibility of redemption, is available to all, to everyone, full stop. These fundamental variances of ideology kept both Unitarian and Universalism in the same theological neighborhood. That was until 1961 when they took steps to merge into what we now call Unitarian Universalism. I unravel these here because too often we act as if UU is a bush on the edge of the spiritual forest, when in fact we are a leaf on the far branch of the Christian faith tree. There is wisdom, strength, and power in knowing the roots and in knowing the leaf. Thread. With respect for my spiritual siblings, I had to relearn the story of Easter. Today is one of the most holy days on the Christian theological calendar. Today is Easter or Resurrection Sunday. Today is dedicated to commemorating the resurrection of Jesus from the dead as described in the New Testament of the Bible. The miracle of Resurrection Sunday is preceded by several events for Jesus and his followers. First, there is a 40-day period of fasting, prayer, and penance, sometimes called the Big Lent. The next chapter is often called the Passion of Christ. This time begins when Jesus and company re-enter the city of Jerusalem. This short but intense time includes the Last Supper, the arrest of Jesus, and his trial where Pontius Pilate orders his death by crucifixion. All of this brings us to what we now call Good Friday. Good Friday is a holy day for many faith walks. It is the day to commemorate the death and the burial of Jesus at the Garden of Gethsemane. After the death of Jesus, Joseph of Arimathea was granted permission to prepare and bury the body of Jesus. Joseph along with Nicodemus, washed and prepared the body according to Jewish law. This included shrouding him in quality linen, the use of 75 spices, myrrh, and incense. Once they placed the body of Jesus in the tomb, they rolled a large stone in front to seal it and placed a guard in front as well. Saturday was a holy Sabbath. It was Sunday when Mary of Magdala, Mary, mother of James, and Salome arrived to worship and re-oil the body. Here in the story, I had to seek out biblical consultation with my comrade and mentor, Reverend Tyler Coles. They were able to help me untangle the Gospels, which offer differing versions of the experience of the women on that holy morning. And under all of those differences, what is clear and what is true is this: whether instructed by angels or by transformed Jesus or both, when Mary of Magdala is told Jesus has risen from the dead and is instructed to tell the other disciples that he would meet them in Galilee, in that moment, Mary of Magdala is the church. She is serving as pastor of the word and serving as parishioner over the ritual, an intersection of spiritual density, the end of the Easter story and the birth of the Christian church. Weaving. Having named all of these threads, I begin weaving, bringing them together, finding meaning that I can carry forward in my hands, my head, and my heart. Weaving. First, I want to name that there are many UU Christian people among us, people whose beliefs and practices seamlessly blend Unitarian Universalism and Christianity. We may be a leaf on a far extending branch, but our roots are still attached to the Christian faith tree, and I want to affirm their presence among us. Weaving. In doing the work for this sermon, namely learning our UU history and relearning the Easter story, I created space in my heart for more compassion and respect. I have always pushed against our Christian roots because of my early experiences and my unaddressed confusion. But now, with more context and wisdom, I can now take pride. I know the roots that sustain this leaf. I can honor that our spiritual heritage is some of the magic that makes us whole and holy. I can honor where we started and where we have arrived, which is that we are a covenantal living tradition that is expansive and responsive. Weaving. If I am to honor my process of spiritual transformation and ministerial formation, I need to be able to talk about the life and the work of Jesus, to speak to the intersection of my theology, UU theology, and Christian theology. I believe that Jesus was a man whose life was exemplary in many ways. I believe that his death and the described resurrection was a transformative moment. It changed him, it changed those who believed in him, and it birthed a whole new faith, Christianity. I am too small, the world is too big, and faith is too powerful for me to deny that transformative moment. I honor Jesus, his believers, and the community that it galvanized. With the same awe and reverence I extend to my Muslim kin and my Jewish siblings, this is how multi-religiosity and pluralism lives in my ministry. Weaving. Last, although I may not identify as a Christian, I see the power and the promise that is offered in the story of Jesus' last days, death, and resurrection. I see threads of justice. Jesus dedicated his life to dismantling racism and all forms of systemic oppression. I see threads of equity. Jesus called on the community at large to use our time, wisdom, attention, and money to build and sustain fully accessible, inclusive communities. I see threads of generosity. Joseph of Arimathea donated the tomb. Alongside Nicodemus, they gave their labor to the ritual preparation of Jesus' body. The women, Mary of Magdala, Mary, mother of James, and Salome, came that early Sunday morning to practice the rituals of their faith, demonstrating relationships of interdependence and mutuality. But most importantly, friends, I see the vibrant threads of transformation. Transformation present in my own journey. Thread. I have gone from a mix of Christian and secular Easter practices to a heart that welcomes all practices of joy and renewal. Transformation in the story of our faith. We began as a Christian faith, and now we are a mighty leaf. We started with 6 principles and extended to 8. And we are bravely taking the steps to remain a living tradition as we consider the proposed changes of Article 2, naming our verb-based values. I see transformation in the Easter story. Whether by the Holy Spirit, by the hand of God, the quaking of the earth, the belief of Mary Magdalene and later the other disciples, transformation occurred on that Resurrection Sunday. They all adapted to a changing world, committing to collectively transform and grow spiritually and ethically. So, to answer my own question, what does it mean to be a Unitarian Universalist during these sacred and holy times? We are called to live our values: interdependence, equity, transformation, pluralism, generosity, and justice, and most importantly, love, with deep knowing that openness to change is fundamental to our Unitarian Universalist heritages. It is never complete and never perfect. Ashe and amen, my friends. Ashe and amen.
For our closing hymn, please rise in body and spirit and join in 100 in the gray hymnal, I've Got Peace Like a River. Our closing words this morning are provided by Kiana Dene. As we close out our time together, I offer these words, both as benediction and as a challenge to hold in your heart during the rest of this spiritually magical month. This is a Bible verse translated into UU. But don't let the Bible be a barrier to action. Let these words be spoken from a leaf, honoring its roots. This is from Micah 6:8. They have shown us what is good. And what does the God of your naming require of you? To act justly and to love mercy and to walk humbly with them.
We are here to be lifted in love. Look at the birds, they tell us. We are here to be lifted in love. Look at the trees, they tell us. We're here to be lifted in love. To listen to love as a flower raises its face to the sun. We are all one, here to be lifted in grace and love. We are here to be lifted in love. Look at the sky, it tells us. We are here to be lifted in love. Look at the trees, they tell us. We're here to be lifted in love. To listen to love as the children raise all their faces to the sun. We are all one, here to be lifted in grace and love. We are here to be lifted in love. Look at the trees, they tell us. We are here to be lifted in love. Look at the seas, they tell us. We're here to be lifted in love. To listen to love as the flower raises its face to the sun. We are